Well, Samantha, thank you so much for joining us today at the Guilt Free Marketing Summit. We have got a lot to talk about, so I want to just jump right in. You've been pretty open about a difficult upbringing for you. Can you tell us a little bit about that and like what was the turning point of where you realized you could turn that into something so much better?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you're right. I did go through a lot of trauma when I was a child, and I had to break away from my toxic upbringing. And there was quite a few moments leading up to, what I went through that were just like flashes that I needed to, take my own life into my own hands and create my reality. And I know that I don't have
Mm.
to be defined by my past circumstances that I went through. So, it was actually Christmas morning when my little brother, who's 5 years younger than me, was in a coma. And I remember sitting there holding his hand on Christmas morning, just crying and praying to God that he would help save my brother and my family because I don't want us to have to go through this. And it was the moment that I said that I was going to be the one in my family to completely change our trajectory and to get rid of the limiting beliefs and know that we can have success, we can have happiness, we can have joy. And so that was a really pivotal turning point for me in my life. And ever since I made that commitment to myself, it's been beautiful and God has blessed me with so many amazing things. So it was really that decision I had to make that I needed to change my life.
Yeah. Well, you've talked about in the past generational trauma. So, like, explain that a little bit and how that can be affecting some of the ladies here in our audience today.
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of times certain certain situations, like for example, my father growing up, his father was an alcoholic and he
Mm.
became an alcoholic as well. My mother went through a lot of toxic abuse with her father, and so that's who she attracted as a partner, and that cycle continued. So it's not until you actually realize that
Mm.
these are generational patterns and you want to stop them. And so it was just seeing the same patterns repeated and repeated throughout our generations. And it takes the one to actually realize that you have that ability to completely transform. And honestly, that's one of the reasons, that's my why. When I have a family, I want my children and my husband to be so happy and to know that they can create anything that they want and they don't have to be defined by their past. So it's really just realizing the routines and the patterns that have previously been a part of your family tree and lineage for a long time.
Yeah. Um, I think that we all kind of have a past, and a lot of times we don't want to slip back into that past. And it's easy to kind of like slide back a little bit. Do you have like a good tip of like when we start to feel that way where it's like, oh, kind of got that old mindset? What's a good tip to kind of keep us moving forward?
Yeah, great question. So I like to stop and realize what I'm thinking, right? Where is this belief coming from? Because a lot of our beliefs aren't even ours. And just to get scientific with you, Bruce Lipton from Stanford University did a research study and it showed that 95% of our subconscious mind is created by the age of 18 and 50% by the age of 7. And our prefrontal cortex, the decision part of our brain, does not develop until we're 7, and it doesn't completely get developed until our mid 20s. So, all of the routines and habits and behaviors that we pick up from our caretakers are completely embedded in our subconscious. So, we're walking around as adults unless we're actually identifying those beliefs with beliefs from other people and our teachers and our coaches and things. So, unless you're able to stop and determine where that belief came from and actually say, do I want to believe this? Then it's not going to change that much because most of us are running on autopilot. And so I had to get very curious and I would stop myself and I said to myself, do I have to believe this thought? Is it actually true? And the answer was always no. And so that gives you the ability to stop and pivot into giving yourself a more empowering belief to actually create a life by design and that you want to live.
So how do you do a mindset shift like that? Like I mean, I know, yes, absolutely. Number one is always the awareness of where your mind is going. Definitely. So how, like, what's a good example of like, how did like kind of make a little bit of a mindset shift?
Yeah, great question. So I grew up with a lot of limiting beliefs of I'm not worthy, right? I was always told I wasn't good enough, I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't pretty enough. So I had to stop that and I had to say, no, I am beautiful, I am smart, I do deserve a life that I absolutely love. And so it was really just looking in the mirror and empowering myself and loving my inner child because I had to go through all of those really difficult circumstances. But again, we don't have to be defined by our past. So it's really pouring love, unconditional love into yourself and knowing that you are worthy. So it was just every time that thought would start coming up, I would stop it and say, no, I am beautiful. I am worthy of a life that I desire. And then that starts rewriting your subconscious mindset, right? Because we have these neural pathways of what we were thinking for so long. And so I like to think of it as a super highway, right? We have those thoughts, they're just consistently, we keep thinking them. So we need to have a roadblock and we need to start carving out a new road to have those new beliefs so we can start thinking of those beliefs on autopilot. So it's just redirecting yourself every time you start having that negative thought into a more empowering one.
I love that. Well, you have your community light up your life, right?
Yes.
So tell me about. So I want to know like where that came from, what it's all about, and how it's helping people.
Yeah, so we first started out as a podcast named Light Up Your Life, where we interview, women like you who are very successful and just people who are making a really big impact in the world and giving our community the tools and the skills and the mindset tips that they need to become successful. So we started doing that, and I'm like, you know what? I want to branch out and make a bigger impact. And I used to be in network marketing, and I grew a really big team, and I would love to do these 6 a.m. like early breakfast calls where we would listen to something empowering. We would write down I am statements. We would write down like our power list of things we're going to do for the day and then hold each other accountable. And so then from there, I branched off and was like, you know what? I want to start my own women's community where we can have a group every single week where we get together and we go over our goals, we go over our dreams, and we help support each other because I find community is everything. And there's so many statistics that say if you have a community that's backed, you're going to be able to achieve your goals so much faster. So it was really just it's a place where people can come and women to feel empowered and to know that we all deserve abundance and no one can take away your abundance or my abundance because there's so much in this world for all of us. So
Absolutely. I think that community definitely is number one, especially for women. We do need that support, and for people like me, I'm working from home, so I'm isolated a lot. So
yeah.
to find the right community that is really in your corner and really cheering you on, and to say and to work with someone like you, where it's like, yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Mhm.
I know there could be limiting beliefs, but we're here to lift you up and be a part of that community. I think that's so important what you're doing. So you have created some journals and other tools and things like that. What's kind of a daily practice that we can get into that's going to help us be moving forward with a better mindset?
Great question. So I published the Dream Bigger Manifestation Journal. And what really helped me, especially get rid of those limiting beliefs when I first started journaling, was actually writing down my thoughts and rewriting them. And so I use a lot of different journals and I kind of combined everything that worked for me into this manifestation journal. So it has powerful I am statements, it has your list of gratitude because we can't be expecting God or the universe to give us more when we're not thankful and grateful for what we have. And then it has the power list of 5 non-negotiables that you're going to do to elevate your success and keep the promises you make to yourself. And then my favorite part of it is journaling out as if it already happened. You want to feel those feelings and thank God that you already have it in your life. And then when you're vibrating with that gratitude and that frequency, it's going to come into your life so much faster. So I I religiously do my journal prompts every single day, and that's really helped me stay grounded and get in alignment with who I am and the people that I'm serving.
I think that's a great suggestion because it is easy to get into your journal. Just get in there and start writing those. I love that idea. And I went to something once where we did some role playing, and I don't know if you've ever done this with your group, but we had to write down kind of where we would be, where we wanted to be in 3 years. And so then we got to meet our friends and we told them as if it were in present time what was happening, but it was really
That's
the 3 year.
beautiful. I
And
love that.
I'm it was really cool, and it was like, wow, it really did, to do the role play really like even felt even more real, where you were
Yeah.
like actually saying it out loud, like I'm doing this and I've got this, and you're like, wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, wow. That is really powerful. And it probably made everyone who did it just feel more empowered, like, wow, I can really achieve these things that I really want.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it,
it felt a lot more real,
mhm.
because some of those big dreams that we have, we kind of go, I don't know, can I really do that? And then you say it and you go, wait a minute, I really can. I like that.
Yes.
Um, well, I want to go a little bit off topic because, of course, I peeked at some of your social media, and I know it had come up a couple of times, the parasite cleansing, and I have done a version of this before, but I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Yes. So we're having the top parasite cleanse expert on our podcast in about 2 weeks, but I previously done a parasite cleanse because I was learning. So my mother has MS, multiple sclerosis,
Mm.
and I was learning that a lot of diseases, autoimmune diseases, and even cancers and things like that originate from having parasites in the body. So I did a
Mm.
deep dive, and there was a point in my life where my legs started getting tingly. I would crave sweets so much. I had brain fog, and I wanted to get down to the root cause of it. And I realized that it could potentially be parasites. So I was diving deep and I did a parasite cleanse. I also did colonics, and I felt so much better. And I was so disgusted at the amount of parasites that I release from my body. People don't even realize that we pick them up from, eating sushi, and it could be under your fingernails in the water that you drink. So it's pretty wild experience, but I highly recommend it for anyone listening to this because yeah, they can definitely cause damage. And I felt amazing after I did the cleanse.
Well, I love that when you said like mind fog, because I feel like
Mhm.
we often can have something like that. So kind of this mind body kind of thing. When your body's also feeling good, your mind gets clearer. Then you're able to really step into those ideas, and like I said, the things we want to do, and having the confidence to do it. So I think that's a good suggestion. Always good to be healthy in the body as well.
Oh, it has everything to do with it too. Like if your body and mind aren't clear and you're not feeling good, you're not vibrating at the frequency to attract what you want into your life. So absolutely agree that they have to be in sync.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything that you are just dying to share with our audience that we haven't already covered? Anything else that maybe would be really helpful for them?
Yeah, I just think that you listening to this, you create your reality by your thoughts alone. And so you can be, do, or become anything that you want. You just have to make a proclamation. You have to make a decision and know that you are worthy. And there's someone out there that needs you to step in the higher version of yourself so you can help them. And, that's what community is all about. How can I serve the person I once was to empower them to know that
Mm,
they can live a life that they truly desire? So that would be a message that I would send out to everyone.
I love that because I think that, yeah, we all do have a purpose. And when we're not living our purpose, somebody is missing out. Somebody's missing out on what we have to bring. I think that's so, so good. Well, you do have a free gift for our audience. Can you tell us about what you've got?
Yes, I'm excited. So, this is coupled with my manifestation journal, but it's essentially the secrets to manifesting your dream life. And a lot of people know about how you have to have the feelings behind what you want as if you already had it. But there's so much to do with, like we mentioned, the frequency that you're broadcasting. And a lot of times, the foods that we're eating, um,
Mm,
a lot of like if you have fluoride in your water too, that's calcifying your pineal gland, which we call our intuition, right? Our seat of intuition. And when that's blocked, it's kind of like you trying to go on your cell phone and you have no bars and you're trying to call someone. The reception, you can't make that connection. So when your pineal gland is decalcified, you are sending out a strong signal. And when you're vibrating at, it's called the theta wave brain frequency. We like to call it the wealth wave. You're able to attract things so much faster in your life. So your diet has everything to do with it. And this gives you a breakdown of everything you should be eating and the frequency that you need to be broadcasting on to manifest what you truly desire in your life. It's so great. I learned it from my mentor, who is part of the elite class, has created multi-billion-dollar companies. So it's really valuable information for your audience here today.
Well, I love that. What a great gift. I'm so grateful that you're able to take the time and share with us. I think that what you've got really is important for our audience. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.